today's video we are going to unbox and use this 7-inch Simoniz polisher and sander. I'm not particularly interested in the polishing aspect of this, but I'm doing a bunch of body work on this car behind me and we're going to do a lot of sanding. So we're going to try it, see how it performs, and review it. Okay, let's see what we got in here. I'm going to assume that's a polishing disc and the attachment. Let's see here. And another one and a handle. Instruction booklet. And the unit itself. What I like about this, I got this at Canadian Tire. It was on sale. I think it was $70, approximately between $70 and $80, July of 2019. I like the fact that this is fairly big. I have an angle grinder, but sometimes it's actually easier to work with something that's kind of long and you can get a grip on the tool so it doesn't escape you. Yeah, be careful when you're doing any heavy-duty sanding, because if you don't have a good grip on the tool, there's the handle, and looks like that's it. Yeah, as I was saying, if you don't have a good grip on the tool, sometimes it can get away with you. You could break a wrist or something. And that is the contents of the box. So read through the safety section that's included with the manual. You're going to want to follow a lot of the good advice in there, like safety goggles and gloves, that type of thing. Then you'll come to a parts list here. It says you should have the angle polisher and sander, which we do. Then we should have a 7-inch backing pad, which is going to be this. So there's our 7-inch backing pad, and then it says a foam pad that we should have 2 of them, which we do. The other one is here. I'm going to cut this carefully so I don't cut my foam pad. So, as it says, we should have 2 of these, and we do. And then the D handle, which is this, and the side handle, which is that. And then it says 7-inch sanding paper, which I saw here somewhere. There it is, right here. And an additional carbon brush, which is here. So it looks like we have everything that it says in the parts list. First step in our assembly instructions is to install the D handle. We can see here and here, these are grooved, as is the handle. We slide it on like this. Now, if I was left-handed, I would turn it this way, push it down, and then install the screws. I'm right-handed, so push this over here, and then we have 2 big Phillips head screws to install. These 2, I'm gonna fast forward as I install these. If you decide you want to use the side handle instead of the D handle, you just remove the D handle, and you don't need the 2 screws because the side handle has this threaded already. So just take this off and I'd screw this into whatever side. Next step, install the backing pad. So we can see here, I'll actually do it this way maybe so you can see it a little better. Pretty straightforward. Okay, actually, you can see as I start to spin that on, once it gets tight, it just turns. So what we have to do is turn it over here, and there's a spindle lock button right here. You press that in, it won't turn anymore. Oops, there we go. So I'm holding it in and I'm tightening it up, and hopefully you can see the spindle isn't turning anymore, and that's getting tight. And I'm not going to get too aggressive with this, right about there, I'd say. If we were going to polish, we would just line up our foam pad like that. I'm not going to press it on too hard because I'm actually going to do some sanding. So I'll remove this carefully, and I'm going to put my sandpaper on. Now it says something when you read your instructions about letting it run for 3 minutes. I believe it mentioned in the polishing section, to make sure that the foam pad is on securely. Anyway, there's our sanding pad. Our instructions tell us to install the intake cover, which is right here, filter to protect the motor from debris and such, but it was already installed, so I'm just gonna see if this pops out. That was easy. Okay, and you take this out if it gets clogged up, and clean it. I think it says with soap and water. Let's see. To clean, remove the intake cover, wash using a damp cloth or water, reinstall after it's dry. Okay, so, and to put it on, I'm assuming, yep, just clicks into place nice and tight there. So let's put some AC power to this, and we'll talk about the controls. And before I forget, now is the time for safety glasses. You know, sometimes we're all bad for skipping safety procedures sometimes, but absolutely don't run something like this without safety glasses. To power the unit on, it's this trigger here. So I'm going to press this in. Speed control is up here. We can see I have that in around, well, 4-ish. I think this unit will go up to like 3,000 RPM, which is quite impressive. So we're going to put it on 6 maximum. Now let's tone that down a bit here. Let's put it to around 3, half of what we just had. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the trigger lock here. So we notice now if I hit the trigger, as soon as I release the button, it stops. If I wanted to just continue, I push this on. So you can see that I powered it on via the trigger, hit the trigger lock button, and then to disable that so that it's not just running constantly, you hit the trigger again. We'll try that again. Now it's time to actually do some work with the tool. I'm going to do some sanding. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to talk while I'm doing that. So the next video, we're just going to put it to work and probably fast forward through a lot of it. The last thing I want is this nasty wire brush coming off of there. So just to show you again, that is trying to tighten that up there, that's loose. So I'm going to hold this, and in the case of this brush, it has a 22mm bolt on it. Tighten that up and push the two of them together like this, and that's really good and tight there now. I gotta say, really impressed with this tool. The only thing I didn't like is they don't have a multi-tool for holding the axle, whatever you want to call it, the shaft that comes out of the tool itself. And I'm guessing the logic of that is because we can hold this down, the button up there that we talked about, to keep it from turning. But if you want to get something really tight, and they have the grooves here, so obviously, you know, they must have planned on using the tool, but they didn't include it in the kit. This part of the video, I'm kind of torn if I should even be showing this, but my angle grinder over here died on me. So I got to looking at my fancy new sander polisher, and I noticed that our threaded shaft that comes out here is the exact same size excuse me, as my 4.5-inch angle grinder. And as you can see, I'm in the middle of trying to repair this thing. But anyway, didn't really want to go buy another angle grinder. So what I went and did is I bought, instead of paying over $100 Canadian for an angle grinder, I bought two locking nuts. I'm showing this here in case you do that. I'm not recommending to do this, but I'm just showing you what I did. I got a depressed center locking nut and a center locking nut. And they are, this is one of them, and that's the other one in there. Again, do this at your own risk. I'm not even recommending you do this. But it does kind of illustrate the versatility of this thing. Nowhere in the instructions does it ever say this can be used as an angle grinder, so I'm taking my chances, and you would be too if you did it. So anyways, I'm going to hold my button in there, and this is a multi-tool for an angle grinder for removing I loosened that off before. So that's what I had there on one side. I had to get this one here that has that long portion of it sticking out, because otherwise my disc was right close to the body there. This is one of these multi-tools. There's all sorts of attachments for 4.5-inch angle grinders, and this is one of them. And I hold my button in as we're doing. And actually, I'm going to put another pair of gloves on before I tighten this thing up. Or actually, I'm going to tighten it up through the nut here. I think that's a 22-inch nut. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.